All right, let's head to North Queensland. Valentine Holmes, Cowboys fullback, is kind enough to join us on Fox League Live this morning. Val, good morning to you. Now, you spent some time, obviously, in New York. You were living in Jersey when you were training with the Jets. Can you believe the scenes of lockdown and isolation that we're now seeing, not just in New York, but right around the world?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Yeah, it is crazy. It's obviously it's starting to be real in Australia now, and also up here in Queensland and Townsville. There's we haven't heard of too many cases, but the way everything's going now, it's obviously getting real. It's getting real. It's crazy, and the fact that they've shut down the NRL now, every sport in the world's pretty much stopped. It's definitely hit home to us, and we just want to kind of get this over and done with, trying to get everyone back healthy, and we just want to get back out on the field as soon as we can. I think that's what most of the players are thinking.
Hey, Val, it's Mick Ennis. Great to see you back, kid, mate. It was a great start in the opening 2 weeks. Put it into context for us, because the NRL's everything to us, but you've seen it on a global scale. You've played in you were part of one of the biggest competitions in the world in terms of the NFL. Was that when you realised that it was serious, when they shut down the NFL?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a few weeks ago. I seen the NBA had been suspended.
Yeah.
And when I seen that, obviously they're quite a big franchise in the world and very popular sport. Once I seen that, I kind of knew it was obviously affecting more so the US and those countries. And then as it came over here, it started to get real for Australians as they started to travel back or however it got here.
Yep.
But yeah, as soon as it's shut down like those massive codes, even I seen the game. I think it was PSG, the soccer team, and they played with no crowd. It was maybe a month ago, and then just seeing that into them suspending their season, it's obviously getting real. And yeah, like I said, it's obviously very hard to try to get a head around. And I know a lot of fans are probably missing watching sports every weekend. So it's we've all got to try and stick in this together, I think.
Yeah.
Val, you're only out of the game 12 months, but rugby league sort of changes and evolves all the time. Remember, Sonny Bill came back. He was out of the game for a few years, came back and noticed the change. Have you felt any changes in the game, any nuances that sort of struck home for you?
I haven't felt any changes as of yet, but there's a lot of young boys coming through every club that are just killing it nowadays. Obviously, look at Broncos. I was watching the game just the other night, and I remember some of the commentators saying that their oldest forward was like 24 or 25 years old. Just
bit different to playing with Gal, eh?
That's what I mean, Mickey. I grew up playing alongside you guys, Luke Lewis, Paul Gallen, Wado, like all the older boys, where you kind of look up to those guys, and where everyone nowadays is, everyone's a freakish talent, very young, coming through. A couple of guys that were born in 2000. So that's more so what I was getting used to.
That's how it happens, mate. I'll tell you. Next thing you'll wake up and you'll be 50, believe me. And your best days are over.
Yeah.
Playing a trumpet.
See, you're playing a trumpet for just mild attention.
Oh.
Val, what are the Cowboys doing to make sure you guys stay safe, stay motivated, stay mentally sound right throughout what we don't know is an inordinate amount of time?
Yeah. So we just had our first kind of meeting about all of this yesterday around 12 o'clock. That was more so just to if any of the boys had questions about everything, obviously about salaries or when we can train or when we can't. And they pretty much said that we're not allowed to train together, especially at the Cowboys stadium or anything for the next few months or however long this is. They just want us and expect us to do our own training. Obviously, gyms are closed, so it's going to be hard for a lot of players. But Michael and I are set because our wives are in a gym, so we can go in there whenever we want. But, yeah, I think more so they just expect us do our own running, obviously grab a ball when we can, at least go along with some other guys and kick and catch and pass and, still obviously keep the skills up because we don't know when. Obviously, we can start playing again. When we do, we still need to be on top of everything.
You concerned with that at all, mate? I mean, given, it's such a vastly different training program that you've been on for the last 18 months over in the States. You come back here and you've made that transformation now to try and get back to that NRL condition, and we could see that with your body, particularly from when you first came back to where you were at in that opening fortnight. Now that you've made that adjustment, are you concerned that you'll lose some of that, I suppose, over the next coming months?
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, because footy players just train well when we're in a team environment, when we have trainers there yelling at us, making us do our testing and stuff like that. It's obviously going to be a bit harder when we just have to rely on each other or ourselves if we can't train alongside anyone. But, that's why we get paid. We have to do stuff like that. Well, no one can help us. I'm sure I'll be probably working out with Michael and, the guys that live around here in the city, so we can't travel too far. And I'm sure we'll all, on WhatsApp catch up and try and work out together and push each other as hard as we probably should be as if we were training in season.
Proud Queenslander, mate. Tell us how special it was the other night at the opening of the stadium, playing obviously against the Broncos, arch rivals, but it looked fantastic.
Yeah, it was unbelievable stadium. We went through it a few times before, and it's unreal. I'm really happy to be up here and to be able to play inside there. It's obviously disappointing with what's going on now with the fans, and I'm sure they would love to get in there week in, week out to support us through that. But yeah, that first game was unreal. Obviously, it would have been good to get the result, but we always hear about the games of Broncos and Cowboys together. It's always a tough, gritty match, and usually comes down to the last minute, or if not in golden point. But it was still a special moment. First game for the Cowboys in the new stadium. 25 years it's been. They've been around for, so it's a special time.
Yeah, we certainly love those Queensland derbies. We could just play those week on week when rugby league resumes, and I don't think anyone would be upset to see the Cowboys and the Broncos go head to head. Now, we're talking about, fingers crossed we can resume this premiership, but it would push us into the warmer months. Is it feasible that we are playing Premiership Rugby League in December in North Queensland, where it's about 1 million degrees and 4,000% humidity?
Yeah, there was. I think the RLPA and NRL have been talking, and they come back with some type of, agreement of when we can be back, and that's what we got out of it. I think if the season can get back by June, they'll start it and finish it the whole season. But if it's post June, they might be looking at maybe shortening it. But yeah, if there's games in December, I'm sure it's going to be tough for everyone. That's why I'm saying, if we're going to keep training, we might as well just keep training hard. And it might be all right for us up here because we're used to it, maybe Brisbane guys, but for guys coming from Melbourne and Canberra and Sydney, it's going to be probably affecting them more so, but maybe we'll have to travel down there more so.
Once the borders were shut to Queensland, did you kind of know that was it? That was game over?
Yeah. Once I heard that the Queensland Mayor was going to be shutting the borders just to keep everyone kind of secluded in their own state and not anyone travelling around, I kind of had a feeling it would have been like that. But then obviously the week before we did an okay job of just literally going in day of the game, playing and coming straight back. No stop anywhere, no touching with, interacting with any fans or anyone. I thought that worked well, but obviously it's a bit bigger than us.
Well, not knowing what the rest of this year holds, thank you so much for giving us some great moments, and the opening night of that brand new North Queensland Stadium, packed to the rafters, full of fans. They certainly didn't give a hoot about the virus at that point, so it was wonderful to see the fans just out there enjoying some rugby league, because we don't know when we might see that again. Thank you so much, Val Holmes.
Great to see you, Val.
Thanks, guys.
Val.